everybody, it's Gypsy. I'm really bad with eye contact, so if I'm not looking directly into the camera at any given point, that's why. It's not because I don't want to look at you guys. But anyway, I'm just doing like a vlog today because I wanted to just share my thoughts with y'all. And I did promise you guys I was going to do more videos talking about my Aspie issues, so that's what I am doing. Okay, so my hope is that those of you who either have Asperger's, autism, or are dealing with loved ones who you suspect have it or have been diagnosed with it, that these kinds of videos will help you to gain more perspective on how to deal with the situation, because everybody who is on the autism spectrum has different strengths and weaknesses, and they're not affected by the same exact thing overall. So hopefully if you're listening to this video and some of the things I'm talking about you can relate to, that will help to transfer like from my experience to you guys' experiences, so that you kind of understand that you're not alone and that there are ways to deal with it and that it's not completely hopeless. Okay, so that's kind of my goal and why I'm making these videos talking about it. But anyways, so yesterday I was watching some documentaries on Netflix concerning autism, and that kind of got me thinking about my own struggles that I could relate to with the people who are in these videos, and some of the things that they go through I haven't had to go through, but I could understand like their pain, you know. And just by chance I got a phone call from one of my Korean aunts who lives in the state of Washington, and I haven't seen these aunts since childhood, like since I was probably in high school was the last time I saw them. And my aunt was calling me to ask me if I was going to take a vacation anytime soon to come and visit her, but I the conversation kind of turned to me revealing to her my Asperger's diagnosis, and I was struggling to explain it to her because I don't have the right vocabulary in Korean to explain Aspergers syndrome or even autism in general. So like everybody in my family kind of knows that my sister's son is autistic, so I was trying to use him as my reference to say it's basically what he's got, except just on a higher functioning level. So it's similar to that, and I didn't really know like exactly how to explain it to her. So she says to me, okay, well, tell me what are the things that you are affected by? Like, how does this thing affect your life? And I'm trying to explain it to her. Mind you, this aunt I've known since birth. Like, she's known me since I was a baby. And kind of was one of the people that raised me. So like those red flags that as a child you would notice in a kid that's not developing normally, she's one of these people that would have been able to tell me that about myself. But when I was trying to explain it to her, like she kind of just brushed it off like, well, all it sounds like is that you're just super smart. And she was like, people who are smart aren't understood by other people, so that's not really a big deal. It's just part of life, you know what I'm saying? And when she said that to me, it just kind of turned me off to trying to continue my explanation, because I just felt like, what's the point? Like every time I tried to explain this to people, especially Korean people and people in my Korean side of the family, they are quick to dismiss it as me just being eccentric. You're just a smart, artistic, eccentric personality, and who would understand a person like you? So don't feel bad. It's nothing wrong with you. You're just misunderstood because you're smart. You know what I'm saying? There was just no attempt on her part to try to like understand what was going on with me. Like she literally said to me, oh, well, all you need is some treatment and you'll be cured, right? And I was like, no, like there is no cure for autism. You can't get rid of it. It's like the way your brain is wired. It's nothing anybody can control. You just can go to therapy and like learn ways to cope and try to pick up skills that maybe you didn't have to get through society, but like that's really it, you know what I'm saying? So I was trying to explain that to my aunt, but she was just being so dismissive and so just, don't worry, everything's fine, you know? And it's not that I wanted her to be like, oh no, your world's coming to an end. I just wanted her to have some compassion of being like, oh man, okay, so you're going through something new that you're trying to understand better, you know, keep me updated, let me know what's going on with you. Or even maybe give me some input like, well, the things you were doing as a kid that we didn't really like think were big red flags, I guess I could see now that I'm a mom and I've raised my own kids, how those things could have been affecting you to now as an adult, you know, it's negative effects over your life. I can see how that would affect you. Oh, I hope you get better. You know what I'm saying? Just something to that nature, but of course, like, my mom's side of the family, their personalities, they're just so very like in denial about flaws, and they like to hide and like keep secrets from everyone when there's anything that they feel is like a negative reflection on them. So they kind of just sweep everything under the rug. And I wanted to feel like maybe my aunt is different than my mom or my grandmother, and she would be a little bit more open-minded about the whole thing, but she totally wasn't. And when I got off the phone with her, like, I was crying because I was like, oh my God, like, I feel so misunderstood. Like, I just feel like I could be one of these people that's all alone in the world and feels nobody understands them. And I just lost interest in trying to even explain this condition to my aunt. Do you guys remember that song? It's an old song, and like the hook goes, if you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. Ooh, something like that, right? Okay, that song was what was like playing in my head as I was thinking about my conversation with my aunt, because I'm like, damn, you've known me since I was a baby. Like, I'm trying to connect dots here. I'm trying to make sense of my personality and the way I think and the way that I am, and how this actually affects my life, and you're just brushing it off like I'm just making a big deal over nothing. Like, it's all in my head, and I'm gonna drive myself crazy if I keep thinking about it. And that just really bothered me. I had to kind of like stop and appreciate the role that certain people have played in my life, like my Uncle Ben on my father's side of the family, who's dead now, but he's been my best friend since I was like 14 years old, and I had him around till he was 60. He's 30 years older than me, so he was alive till 60, and like such a huge role he played in my life, not even knowing that I might have Aspergers or any kind of disorder. He was so encouraging of me just being myself and being comfortable in my own skin. That took me so far in life. I feel like I would have had way more hangups and way more disadvantages if I didn't have someone as supportive as my Uncle Ben to push me to just accept who I am and be myself, and don't feel like the world is judging me because I don't think like they do. Alright, I had to take a little bit of a break because I'm trying to compose myself as I'm making the video, and just thinking about a lot of the things that I had to go through to get to where I am right now is just making me emotional. So I don't want that to stop me from going on, because I feel like I can't be the only person in the world that feels like this. And despite me getting worked up, I feel like this is an important topic that maybe can help somebody, and I would rather just get through this video looking a hot mess than stop here. So yeah, and then the other person that I really don't want to take for granted is my husband, Adonis, who, before we had a diagnosis for my issue, has been just consistently, like year after year after year, trying his best to help me cope with my issues, and trying his best to understand where, like, what my problem is. And now that we do have an actual like reason for why I am the way that I am, I feel like some burden has been lifted off of him, but at the same time, it's also still this pressure of, all right, so now that we know what the issue is, like, how do we deal with it, you know? And I feel like a lot of parents of children with Asperger's and autism, siblings, you guys go through the same thing, which standing on the inside of the spectrum, I don't know exactly what that feels like for you guys who are probably very frustrated because you can't communicate with these people you love the way that you would like to. And that's hard, and my heart goes out to you guys because it's a huge sacrifice for some of y'all to make, because everybody who's on the spectrum is not as verbal as I am, and everyone has a different IQ level, so the way that they express themselves or the way that they process information is going to be very different. And so some of you guys probably have a more intense struggle than others in dealing with people who have autism. But I can only speak as a voice of someone who's dealing with this from the inside and try my best to express to you what we're going through so that it gives you some perspective on how maybe to deal with these, you know, individuals who maybe it feels like to you like they don't care about you or they have no compassion towards you and they're difficult to get along with. For me, my whole existence is very controlled by my sensory issues. It's to the point where I'll start to feel like I'm imagining it. Like it's not really anything here that's bothering me, but I just think that it's bothering me and I'm letting it bother me and I'm completely imagining whatever this thing is. And then when I complain about it to people around me, they kind of just give me this look like, why are you letting this thing upset you? Or like, why are you so worried about it? Just ignore it, you know? For example, like at night, because I have such a horrible time going to sleep, I got a sleep mask, and the side of the mask that's touching my face, I for like a few days, I've been feeling this very slight, almost like a hair just grazing against my skin. So I'm always picking at it, trying to pull it off. And I'm thinking it's maybe a piece of my hair that has got caught inside the mask or something like that. And I don't know what it is, but I know I feel it, and it's very, very faint, very slight. So when I'm pulling at the spot where I feel like it's hanging from, I can never seem to quite get it. And it drives me nuts, and I can't concentrate on just laying down and trying to sleep. And then at the same time, I need to have fans blowing on me. I have 3 fans facing me at night with the AC on because the temperature in the room, to me, feels hot, but other people say they're cold. When the fans are blowing on me, the hairs around the sides of my face will start to blow into my face. And even if it's just the tiniest hair, if it grazes my skin, I can't stand it. I don't like the way that it feels. So it's so distracting to me, and I cannot just fall asleep that way. And then even if I were to fall asleep, if I feel that sensation of the something grazing my face, it'll wake me up, and I will not be able to go back to sleep until I've stopped it. Whatever it is, I gotta get rid of it. So last night, I actually took off the mask, and I looked at the mask to see, am I imagining this? Why do I keep feeling like something is grazing against my skin? And lo and behold, it was a little tiny, tiny, tiny thin part of the thread that's stitched inside of the mask that was just I can't even say it was hanging. It was so thin you can't even see it. It was just floating there, you know what I'm saying? And when the fans would blow wind towards my face, it was moving against my nose, and that's what I was feeling. But that sensation to me feels very noticeable, and it's so strong and annoying. It's so amplified that someone else may not even realize it's there, but it really bothers me. And that's what was stopping me from just being able to rest, you know? So it'll just be a lot of things like that going on with me, but simultaneously, imagine that distraction times 30 other things going on that's constantly distracting me from just having a complete thought. I can't do it. And when I'm at work and I have to concentrate on my job, or at home and I'm trying to complete a task cook dinner or something like that, and then things start happening around me that is to me a distraction, it'll really stop me from moving on with my day, and I'll just get stuck inside of this like state of mind where I'm just I don't know, I'm just stuck inside my own head, I guess, oblivious to everything that's going on around me, you know? I'm using this example to illustrate to you guys who are dealing with other people who have autism, or even those of you who are thinking like, am I autistic? What's going on with me? I don't have a name for this disorder, and none of the doctors know what my problem is. This is my struggle. Like, this is why it seems like I might have OCD. I might have ADHD. I can't sit still, you know? It seems like I'm dealing with anxiety of some kind, social anxieties. I'm not a shy person. I'm a very open person, as y'all can tell. I'm on YouTube. I'm talking to you guys all the freaking time. My whole life is an open book, but at the same time, I can't really socialize with people the way I want to, the way that I feel like other people are socializing. I just can't. Like, to me, it's so meaningless, and I don't want to have a meaningless relationship with anybody. So when I'm around people that I feel like you guys are just around me because you want to be around a cute face, or you think I'm funny, or you're just bored right now, you ain't got nothing else to do, so I'm keeping you company. When I get around people like that, I can't take them seriously. I start like tuning them out when they're talking to me. I don't really go out of my way to like look for those people, like keep in touch with them, talk to them. They just kind of fade out of my life because I can't keep up this facade of having this completely superficial relationship with people. I just can't do it. Like, it doesn't make sense in my mind logically. It makes no sense. I can't. And then the other extreme of that is that I'll fixate on people. Like, I think some people with autism they have fixations and they have special interests. And my special interests are like a few different things. Dolls, that's one of them. But that's just like a surface level thing. I have a lot of other interests that are like very abstract. Like, for example, faces. I have a fixation with people's faces, and if I like your face, if it's something about your face, like the expression that you make, or the way your eyes are shaped, or the skin tone that you have, or the way your hair, you know, frames your face, like anything, just something about your face that triggers it, I will gravitate towards you and like latch onto you and just take such an interest in you as a person, your life, your thought process, your favorite everything. Like, I want to know everything about you, and I want you to be my like person. Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's almost like living dolls. Like, I want to just be around that person and smell them and like talk to them, hear their voice, text them all day. Like, I don't know. It's not like I'm obsessed with them. Like, if I don't have them, I'll die kind of a thing. It's not like that. It's just I'm just interested in you, and I want you around me, and like instantly, like I'll just be like, oh, you're my best friend, and it will really seem like to other people we've known each other forever, even if we just met yesterday, you know what I'm saying? But I can hold on to that friendship as long as that person reciprocates it forever, like for life, you know what I'm saying? But people don't really operate that way. Like, once you and this person maybe physically drift away, like you move to one town, they move to another town, and it's not so easy to like see each other anymore, most people will just kind of just stop keeping in touch, and they'll move on to their new set of friends. But I'm not that kind of person. I will just continually hang on to this person, and at any point they could just pop back into my life, and I will be okay with that, like nothing had ever changed between us, you know what I'm saying? So that's tough to kind of explain to people without totally scaring them off, because people will be like, why? How can you be like that with someone who's a complete stranger to you? But I don't know. I just don't look at it that way. I don't think of people that way. Like, I just don't think of it like that. Like, I can live with people that I've never lived with. They're not in my family. Like, they'll just move in and I will be okay. And I will just adjust myself to the situation as long as I feel that this other person is reciprocating the same level of commitment to me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that like romantically. I'm saying whether it's romantically or just as a friend, like, you'll instantaneously become my family to me, you know? And I will treat you as such, like you'll have my loyalty. And I've been like this since I was a child. And that fixation with people, I know now that that's part of my Asperger's that makes me get like that with people. And And it's a plus and a minus at the same time. It really depends on who I'm dealing with. So I'm hoping that what I'm talking about right now, like, is kind of making sense to you guys. And, you know, it's like a blessing and a curse. Like, my strengths that Asperger's helps me to cultivate really helps me. But sometimes it's also a weakness, because there'll be strengths in areas where it's like they're completely useless things I can't do in real life anything with. For example, dolls. I love dolls, thank God for YouTube, but what if there was no YouTube? What if there was no online doll community that I could access? It wouldn't matter that I know all these facts about dolls, that I figured out how to customize dolls, that I know how to make a tutorial about dolls, that I know how to make a doll's outfit out of fucking string cheese. Like, it doesn't matter. What are you gonna do with that knowledge? You know what I'm saying? It's just pointless information. Same thing with like music, like being able to sing or play the piano just by ear. How does that help you unless you become a musician? You know what I'm saying? And that's like a minority of good singers actually become a musician. A minority of good musicians can actually make money off of it. And not because they don't have the skills, it's just the music industry is kind of rigged. So it's not really one of those professions where you put your mind to it, you bust your ass, and then you actually get somewhere. It's literally like by chance and luck. So this is where I'll get stuck, because I feel like practical skills and practical interactions with human beings, like those kinds of attributes, I don't have. I don't know how to apply myself in those directions. My brain can't process those things. Mostly because it's not a special interest of mine, and I can't bring myself to concentrate beyond my distractions. Soon as a distraction comes into the picture, I'm zoned out. Like, I'll be at work, people will be talking to me, and it sounds like literal gibberish. Like, I have to sit there and really think, like, what are you saying right now? Are you speaking English to me? Like, what language is this I'm hearing? And cause someone could have just asked me, like, where do you guys keep the coloring books? I don't fucking know what you just said. Like, I'll hear the word books, that will make sense, but everything else, where do you keep the coloring? All of that shit just means nothing to me. And it's because I'm totally just zoned out. Like, I'll be caught off guard. I didn't expect this person to come up and start talking to me. I don't work near the coloring books, so like the idea of even keeping track of where coloring books are, like even to say I don't know where it is, it's just like a scenario I didn't picture in my mind I'd have to go through, so I can't process it fast enough when someone's talking to me, and it's like I don't even hear them. So it'll look like I'm ignoring them, but I'm not ignoring you. I'm not paying enough attention to really like grasp what you're talking about right now. And they'll have to repeat themselves to me, or I'll just like stall by repeating the question back to them, where do we keep the coloring books? And then it's like my moment where I have to like really sit and think, like, what did they just say to me? That's my struggle, you guys. It feels like an invisible problem that only exists inside my own mind. I've heard a lot of people with autism say when they are in public, they feel like somebody's staring at them. They are afraid people are talking about them. I've always felt like that my entire life. I've always felt like when I leave my house, everybody's eyes are on me for some reason, and I don't know what the reason is. And it doesn't always make me uncomfortable because I've grown up as a performing artist, so I kind of got used to being stared at. And I used to have like really bad ugly duckling syndrome when I was a kid. And then as I like went through my teenage years, it somehow morphed into confidence. I don't know exactly why, but maybe it was something to do with my Uncle Benny, because that's when he kind of came into my life. But yeah, my stage fright kind of just disappeared and then got replaced with extreme confidence. So when I would go outdoors and I would feel like people are watching me, I just chalked it up to, well, maybe they saw me in a talent show recently. Maybe they saw me at a poetry reading and they just recognized my face. Maybe that's why they're looking at me. I would just kind of like brush that off. But I feel like I'm lucky that I have my talents to fall back on, to blame these feelings on. And a lot of people who do have autism and Asperger's, they don't have that privilege of being able to say, oh, this person knows I'm a really great writer and that's why they're staring at me when I come out the house. They don't have a reason for why they feel stared at. They just do. And it's like, that thought that people are watching you, this paranoia of like, why are you guys looking at me, staring at me, talking about me? It'll drive you kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? And like make you feel like you can't relate to other people or talk to them because something is wrong with you, and that's why people are staring at you or paying attention to you for some reason. And I really feel bad for people who are dealing with that. I don't know what to even say to you guys who feel that way to help you to not feel like that. Because again, like, you can't cure your thought process, but I'm sure there are some ways to cope and deal with it. I'm going through therapy right now. Maybe I will talk to my therapist about these kinds of things and how she would suggest people who have that problem deal with it. Because like I said, I've had that problem too, but I just chalked it up to something else and not my flaws. It's like my strengths are the reason why people are looking at me or talking about me. That's how I've always looked at it. And so I kind of got over that fear of being looked at. Now I don't really care. And even when people do talk shit about me, like, I really don't care. Like, someone in the comments will leave some stupid nonsense like, whatever, your hair looks fucked up, or damn, who did your nails, bitch? Like, they'll say some stupid shit and I will just get over it. I'll just be like, oh, whatever, you hate yourself, you're miserable and you want me to be miserable with you. And that's just how I will look at it now. So it doesn't bother me, but I know that's only because I'm actually confident. But people who don't have that confidence, like, I don't know how to talk somebody into being confident, because you have to believe it within your heart. Like, you really have to love who you are. So I guess the first thing is to just accept yourself as who you are, and don't always look at yourself as flawed, broken, damaged, because maybe your circumstances that you couldn't do anything about, you just fell victim to. I know this video has been pretty long. I feel better sharing this with you guys, and I'm hoping that those of you that are listening right now get something positive from this video. Don't walk away from this video with some confirmation that you are too broken to fix. But at the same time, don't look at yourself like you need to be fixed. You know, I've come to terms with the fact that Asperger's makes me have a barrier to the outside world that probably I will always have my entire life. But I'm so grateful to have been able to find people like Adonis who helped me to accept that I'm fabulous just the way that I am. And if other people can't see my fabulousness and jump on the bandwagon and chill with me, then that's their loss and their problem, because I'm a valuable asset to anybody's life. And you gotta find that in yourself. It really starts with yourself. Other people telling you that you're awesome is not always going to do the trick. Those of you guys who are watching and you are a family member or friend of someone who's got Asperger's and autism, please, please, I beg of you, do not brush off their claims of discomfort and stress. It's real. It's real to that person, and they're not imagining it. And just because you can't quite understand why, like, the color yellow freaks this person out, don't not take it seriously. Don't talk to them like they're a kid. Don't do that. I mean, if they are a kid, that's one thing. But, you know, like an older teenager or an adult that's dealing with this, don't talk to them like they're crazy little children. Respect them and let them vent to you. Let them get it off their chest, because sometimes that's all I need. I just need somebody to listen to me saying, oh my God, this thing drives me crazy and I don't know why. And it bugs me so bad that I'm bothered by this thing. It feels better just to have someone in the room look at you and say, wow, that's tough. I can't imagine what that's like for you to have to go through that. I'm sorry you have to go through that. That makes you feel so much better, and that alone could be help. Everyone can't afford to go to therapy. Some people just aren't in the right state of mind to feel comfortable going to a stranger and talking to them about their issues. But you could be the equivalent of a therapist if you would just take time to listen and not judge and not try to suggest, well, maybe you could do this, maybe you could do that. That may not always be what that person needs. Maybe they just need you to hear them out. Also, if you're not shy, I suggest create a YouTube channel, and you don't have to be all professional about it. Just get on your phone and make a video and vent. Just get it all off your chest. Even if 2 people view it, who gives a shit? Just get it off your chest, put it out there. Maybe that will make you feel better. That's just a suggestion that I have. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want to. I'll do a few more videos talking about my Asperger's for those of you guys who are interested in learning about that or just getting to know Gypsy. And I hope that this video helps somebody out there. Leave it in the comments if you have any requests or questions, and I will try my best to make a video talking about that topic for you guys. That's all I have to say to you guys, and I really appreciate y'all stopping by and spending time with me today. All right, I'm out of here. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe, and I will check you later. 안녕.